England will need to do something special on the fourth day to win this test match in Ranchi. Having yesterday had a lead of 180 with India 7 wickets down, a dramatic third day has seen the test swing in favour of the home side. The first innings deficit ended up being just 46 after Dhruv Jurel's 90, and then England collapsed 145 all out, India needing 192 to win. The home side at the close of play find themselves 40 without loss. It has been hectic, chaotic, dramatic. To come, we'll hear from Shoaib Bashir, who took 5 wickets in India's first innings. He's been speaking to Stefan Shemmel, plus we'll hear from former India wicketkeeper Dinesh Karthik, who's been chatting to Stefan about that crucial Jurel innings. I'm alongside Michael Vaughan and Phil Tufnell to go over the day's play. And Michael, first of all, I just sense we are saying this time and again, England get themselves in a winning position and somehow contrive to throw it all away.
Yeah, day 3 moving day, Henry. Afternoon, everyone. One team moves forward and the other team 2-2 now. You go back to the last week's test match. It was day 3 for England where they went backwards, and today, I mean, India magnificent. They've just got that mentality at home in their own conditions that they just know how to play the situation. Jurel is in his second test match and he played such a sensible, calming innings for his team, but then started to hit the boundaries at the back end. Akashdeep hit a couple into the stands as well. And as soon as he got to within 40 odd, I was at home watching thinking, oh no, because this pitch suddenly started to come into life. And you just know, I've been surprised actually. Ashwin's not opened the bowling more regularly for India in the conditions that we've seen. He was used with that new ball. He gets a couple of early ones. Jadeja, we know he's a massive threat. And again, I looked at Kuldeep in the first innings. He only bowled 12 overs when England scored 353 and got that what we thought was an above par score. I'll still say that. I think it was an above par score. But then Kuldeep, and the best compliment I can give him is I thought he bowled today like a left-handed Shane Warne. He bowled with great revs, great dip, a bit of drift, brilliant variations. And it really was Kuldeep that ripped open that England innings.
Tuffers, am I being unfair? Is this India bowling really well or England throwing away a situation?
Well, it's a bit of both for me. England, of course, will be disappointed. Third innings, always that crucial innings, and it can be a bit of a curse, can't it? You don't know whether it's stick or twist. But that is what it's like playing in India. I mean, you're in a position of strength 1 minute, and then the next minute you're under the cosh, and that's what happens. And the Indian spin bowlers bowled beautifully. As Mike was saying there, Kuldeep really turned the game on its head. I mean, it wasn't particularly spinning all that much. As you say, Ashwin come in, and you thought that he's going to have a part to play. He hasn't really, taken a 5-wicket haul or bowled particularly well this series for my money. But he comes in, gets the ball rolling, puts pressure on, and the next thing you know, you're fighting for your life out there. I think the Indian spinners bowled beautifully. They used the conditions, and it's just the pressure of playing Test match cricket in India. OK, there was a few shots that England will look back on and be a bit disappointed with. Could have perhaps sort of put together a couple of more partnerships, but it's just the way it goes in India.
What about the fact that only Zach Crawley passed 30 in that second innings? Because we saw in the first innings, even when the pitch was misbehaving, Michael, that if you really got stuck in and hung around, you could accumulate runs. It wouldn't be particularly exciting, but it was possible to hang around.
Yeah, most players, that have done pretty well on this surface have done that. They've hung around and then exploited the conditions once they've got used to them. It's the England method. I don't think they baz-balled today. I just think they were up against an Indian side that suddenly got on top. I think where the momentum of the game completely shifted was with India getting so close to England's first innings total. You mentioned, Henry, in your opener, they were 180 in front in having India 7 wickets down and completely on top yesterday. And all of a sudden, they started to work away. Kuldeep Yadav with the bat first and foremost, just hung around with Jurel. And, I think it's that kind of movement of the game that India got too close to England's first innings. And I'm looking at this pitch, and it just seems to go through quiet periods, and suddenly it comes to life. I don't know if someone kind of changes the pitch halfway through. I have no idea what goes on, but something happens. And you just felt that. And I was saying last night that there's going to be a low score in this game. And was it going to be England's third innings, their second innings in the match, or was it going to be, obviously, England will still be hoping that they can bowl out India tomorrow morning. But having seen India get to 40 for naught in 8 overs, a bit of cannon fodder coming coming down. And again, understandably, England have given their bowlers and young spinners 54 overs rest. And it's not just the physicality of the rest, Phil. You'll know more than me as a bowler, but it's the mental kind of torture, what happens playing cricket in India. You need a bit more breathing space in the dressing room, a bit more time to have a few coffees, a few teas, a few massages, and then you go again. This England batting lineup don't give the bowlers enough time to just relax and get set to. And also, it's not a big enough target for a young set of spinners, I don't think, to go on bowl to. They're bowling to 280, 300. I think they're in with a sniff. But now, with only 150 odd to play with going into day 4, it's going to take something remarkable for England to win this Test match.
Is that right, Tuffers? We talk a lot about workloads for fast bowlers, but for spin bowlers who've been out and about in the heat, bowling a lot of overs, not having that recovery time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily physical, even though it is a little bit physical. Obviously, you want a little bit more time off just to put the feet up and what have you. But you've just given your all to get England, get your side into this position. And that England side would have been walking off just going, oh, crikey, O'Reilly, we couldn't, that Jurel knock has just got up to us a little bit there. Listen, but then there would have been positive vibes. Come on, we're 40 ahead. It's still a lead and all this kind of stuff. It's just that mental effort of dragging your team back into the game, and then the next minute you're out there almost sort of kicking yourself, thinking, well, we've got to do it all over again, and to keep raising your level, to keep raising yourself up there for a young spinner, it's difficult, and you just think that everything sort of like starts to go against you. The odd thing doesn't happen, the odd one goes past the outside edge, and you just start to sort of think to yourself, well, it's like grains of sand slipping through your hands, and mentally it's very, very tough. So for a young spinner to be sort of thrust back out there after a little bit of chaos in the dressing room, which it would have been, as you're sort of losing wickets and sort of like losing that initiative, it's very tough to then go out there and sort of try and stamp your authority on the game again.
We'll be hearing from Shoaib Bashir shortly. But Michael, you gave me a call halfway through the day's play today, because we were discussing on text and then on the phone the technology, because Joe Root was given out. It was out LBW, and there was a little bit of consternation on social media and examination of the law. But go on, what was your reading of it?
Well, first of all, there's been many issues with technology throughout the series, and from the visual eye, having sat at home and watched it on the television, I can understand supporters on both sides being frustrated by quite a few of the decisions that are being made. Again, from the visual eye, it doesn't look like Hawkeye's having a great series. Now, I've got a solution to that, because I think the most important operators of the decisions now are those in the trucks. The on-field umpires make a decision. You as a team can now review those decisions. So you then send it to the truck, and then it's down to those in the truck to look at the technology and then come up with the answers, whether it's red, red, red or umpire's call. On this occasion, we've just got to clarify that where it pitches not an umpire's call. It's either or not. It's either pitching in line or it isn't. And over 50% of the ball has to be pitching in line, which they deem to do so. Now, I've got a solution to this, that I think we need to have a camera in the truck that gives people back home and the viewers the understanding of how it all comes to that decision, because we sit at home and it goes red, 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 and we've got no idea sometimes how they've got to that. And then you get all this commotion on social media. I quite like it at times. I think it's quite entertaining. But I just think for the game in general, for people back home watching, I think we need to see a camera in the trucks who is operating, because actually the person that's operating technology is actually more important than the umpires, because at times it is a bit of a guesstimate, and that's what people at home don't quite understand. But if we had absolute clarity of how these decisions come about, and also the ICC, all I want is full transparency. And I don't want issues like today where there'll be England fans saying, oh, India are cheating, and then India fans say, oh, shut up, stop complaining, and then Virat Kohli in a few months' time, he gets out to a similar dismiss that India will be saying, well, that someone else is cheating. I just want that to be taken out of the game. I want full transparency. And if it takes the ICC employing someone to put in the trucks for integrity, well, they'll have to do that as well. I'm not saying that anyone's cheating, by the way. I'm just trying to give an answer to many times over the course of this series, and in cricket in general, when we have days like this where a decision is made and we all disagree on the decision. Now, if the Hawkeye team and the host broadcaster and the person that's operating Hawkeye today was filmed, videoed, and it came across the television exactly how they came about that decision, I think it puts all the kind of noise and all the social media fallouts to bed. And I just think it'd be better for the viewers at home.
Well, this is the thing, Tuffers. We don't ever see under the bonnet, do we? Because we know what the outcome is. We see that on screen, there's the graphic. Okay, it's pitchy. And we know that how the graphic then is interpreted in terms of the laws. I have no idea how it works. I'd love to know how it works because it's really useful for understanding exactly how these decisions are made.
Well, I just think that there's a load of little sort of robots in there all running around, just sort of pushing buttons and working out numbers and what have you. I don't know either, really. I mean, you just think to yourself, right, well, you know, that's where it's landed and that. There must be a little bit of doubt in it because then who makes the decision sort of like... you know, there must be a little bit of leeway either way. I'm not sure who makes the decision whether the leeway goes that way or the leeway goes that way,
Correct.
so to speak. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure myself. I think it's a great idea, mate. Just make it transparent and then and explain to us how they come to that sort of decision, and then it just puts
Henry,
it on the bed, doesn't it?
Henry, that is exactly what we're going to call it, under the bonnet.
Yeah, there we go.
I love that. We need a mechanic. We're going to call it a mechanic under the bonnet. That's what we need in the truck to explain
Overalls.
to us back home. When we're, get the overall, get the gear on, get the mask on, whatever you need to wear.
Get the tee on.
Get the bruise on, and just explain to us at home watching exactly how they come about these decisions.
And Tuffers, far be it from me to suggest that you wouldn't be suitable for this role, but on the WhatsApp group with the analysis this morning, your phone was correcting folks to flakes all morning, so I wasn't quite sure what was going on.
Listen, I couldn't take my eyes off it, Henry. I mean, 4 o'clock, you fall out of bed, don't you? And your eyes are a bit bleary and what have you, but then you soon wake up watching this test match, don't you? I could not... Every ball had something on it. It was fantastic. From Jurel's 90-odd, which was just glorious, and everything. It was just... It was sensational, and there's a little bit of controversy thrown in there. The pitch is doing all sorts. It's a bit weird. Sometimes it wakes up. Sometimes it goes flat. It's just another one of those test matches that is just encompassed in a fantastic series so far. Can't take your eyes off it.
Yeah, and also, I mean, again, just a catch. You know, you look at Ollie Robinson's catch at mid-wicket. You know, that's got to be taken.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a good
you go through the whole series and you're kind of looking at just little moments in all these test matches. And a lot of the moments you kind of go, if England had caught that. You know, Rohit Sharma in that third test match on that first morning, you kind of go, if he'd caught that, England probably wouldn't have gone on to potentially win that game, maybe. But, you know, catching little decisions, inexperience in the spin department, the brilliance of India. And we mustn't take our focus off the fact of how brilliant India's mentality is when suddenly they get a sniff and they get a chance to get on top. I mean, I watched at 4 o'clock this morning, and let's be honest, England were clear favourites to win the game. And inside 6 hours, India have gone from a team that should lose the game to a team that would go a long way to being criticised heavily if they don't win from this position, because they've had an incredible third day.
Well, we mentioned Jurel. What a performance that was. That 90 could end up being, not just in terms of the number of runs, but also the momentum. Such a significant innings for India. And Stefan has been speaking to Dinesh Karthik out in Ranchi about that innings which got India back into the game.
Dinesh, it's been a topsy-turvy fourth test. And if India do complete a turnaround, they've got Dhruv Jurel to thank for a lot of it, haven't they?
Massively. I think it's an understatement not to thank him enough, because what he's done is from 161 for 5 when he walked in, he brought the team to over 300. Now that takes more than this technical skill and all of that. Mental courage to be having the belief to be able to do something like that, marshalling the lower order and making sure they get to a respectable total. Outstanding stuff from Dhruv Jurel.
You gave him his cap in Rajkot. How was that for you?
Brilliant. I think it was one of the highlights of my career, because it's always a special feeling to be able to give a cap. I was given my cap by one Mr. Kiran More, who was an ex-wicketkeeper batsman of India, who had done really well for India, and to have had the opportunity and for Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma to think of me as worthy enough to give a cap. Most importantly, I think it was a special moment for me, and who better than Dhruv Jurel, because he's gone come up the ladder, having played domestic cricket, done well in domestic cricket, and obviously donning the colours for India under 19 as well, touted as a future superstar, and to be able to give it to him was something really special.
What did you say to him?
I basically told him about the journey, about how he's worked hard to be where he is. He comes from a place called Agra, where it's famously known for Taj Mahal. I think he'll be the next most famous thing after the Taj Mahal, and moved to Noida, a part of UP but closer to Delhi, and played cricket. Didn't have the money at a stage. His parents said, "Look, we can't afford anymore." He went and locked himself in the toilet, and he just wanted to do something about it. His mum at the end had to pawn her last gold chain and give him 800 rupees to buy the cricket kit he wanted, and that's where his journey started. And to be playing for India after that and doing what he's doing, very special. His dad is a war veteran, Kargil war, he was there. So, stories like this are so good to be a part of, and the least I could do is remind him of all the good things he's achieved already, and then let this be the start of something even more special.
I want to linger on that story, because earlier on in this series we heard about Yashasvi Jaiswal and how he left his home as a 12-year-old, I think, on his own, without any parents or guardians with him. And Dhruv Jurel did something very similar, didn't he, to go to a cricket academy?
He did. And most of the cricket academies are in Delhi. So he had to get close to Delhi. So he moved to a place called Noida, which is where he got the opportunity to go to academies and hone his skills. And then he was spotted by a coach, and I'm sure he worked in the academy and came through the UP cricketing system, played under 14, under 16, became the vice captain for India under 19. And yes, what a lovely career he's had in this short span of time. But most importantly, the work that he's put in. It's just been really good to watch. Test cricket, I think, comes to him a lot more naturally. He's had to work a lot more on his T20 game, and credit to Rajasthan Royals for making him such a good T20 cricketer as well. It's just great to see. And I keep congratulating IPL and their scouts as much as I congratulate the state teams and their setups, only because of how they're able to groom the youngsters and get the best out of them, make them aware of what the big league looks like, and give them a feel of what it is to practice with the best. And being part of the Royals Academy, I'm sure, has helped him tremendously.
You spoke about that relationship that he has with his parents, and he himself mentions his father specifically every time he's interviewed or speaks about his progress in his cricket career, and talks about how close he is to his father.
Oh, absolutely. I think for him, it's his father who's the hero. It is just, as I said, his father is someone who worked for the army, and it's just good to see him do so well and represent the country. Coming from a state like UP, the first wicketkeeper batsman to come from UP, and for a long time, guess what? Rinku Singh and him are housemates even till today. So you can see where the inspiration has come from as well. Rinku Singh has had a great 6 months in his life, and he's just taken off to another level in white ball cricket. And it's good to see Dhruv Jurel not only just playing for the country, but grabbing his opportunity and making people feel like he completely belongs at this level, and doesn't come easy. This is a very, very good English team that he's playing against, and two of the best bowlers, Jimmy Anderson and Ollie Robinson, Mark Wood in the first test. So, as good as it gets to come to that kind of a situation and play it like he's meant to be there means a lot, not only for him personally, but also for Team India, because I think they were looking for a solid wicketkeeper batsman. Yes, they have Rishabh Pant, but we got to wait on him and his fitness, but he looks like a very, very good replacement.
What about Rishabh Pant then? How are India going to square that circle when Rishabh Pant is fit to play Test cricket once more?
Look, I think it's only a matter of how good he feels, how much he's able to keep, and it's obviously a slow process. He's actually in many ways recovered much faster than what people thought. Hearing news that he's going to be part of the IPL, probably play as an impact player at the start, and we'll see how that develops for him. But I'm really excited for him, because another young kid who's done so well and taken the cricketing world by storm. So if he comes, for sure he'll be rightfully taking his place back in Test cricket. But you can definitely say that Dhruv Jurel has the skills to even be there as a batter. So he'll be on the tour to Australia, and if an injury comes up, he'll be there. And if Rishabh Pant is not fully recovered, he'll be playing till he comes back, I guess.
If people can't remember, remind them what happened to Rishabh Pant.
Oh, Rishabh Pant had a nasty accident where he was lucky enough to get out of the car, and his car completely blew up and is totaled, and that happened on his drive from Delhi when he was trying to go to Dehradun, which is where he's from, which is a hill station. And I think pretty late in the night or very early in the morning, his car met with an accident, completely toppled over, and he was lucky, he says, to get out of that car. And had some major burns and had to go through all of that. Had a dislocated knee, and all of that is back in place, and he feels good as we speak.
Is there a possibility that Dhruv Jurel and Rishabh Pant could play in the same team? Could one of them play as a specialist batter?
Why not? MS Dhoni and myself have played in the same test team for some time, so I don't see any reason why Dhruv Jurel keeps piling up runs like this. Will be looked in as a batter at some point, and may that be, or probably Dhruv Jurel will be the keeper and Rishabh Pant will play as the batter. So you never know how these things pan out. We're seeing Ollie Pope, Johnny Bairstow and Ben Foakes play together. So as long as you're able to deliver with your batting, I think you'll always hold a good chance to play and be part of the 11.
It's something we've touched on throughout this series, Dinesh, that almost regardless of what happens, it feels like we've seen the regeneration of an India Test team over the past couple of weeks, and Dhruv Jurel is just another piece of that puzzle when you consider how well Jaiswal and Shubman Gill and Sarfaraz Khan have been doing over the past 3 Test matches.
Very, very true that, Stefan. And in Rajkot, the team that India played in terms of a batting lineup was the most inexperienced batting lineup since the 1960s. So you can imagine what a big turnaround that has been for India. Generally, we're used to names of Sachin, Ganguly, Dravid, Lakshman in one team. There was Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Pujara for a long time. And to have a completely new batting lineup of Patidar, Sarfaraz Khan, Dhruv Jurel, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill. Well done to Rohit Sharma to still find a way to win that Test match and keep pushing England. But it also tells you the new generation of cricketers are coming through, and things are looking very, very positive, and some ominous signs for other teams in international cricket.
Got a big smile on your face, Dinesh. You feel like India have turned this one around well?
I think India have turned this one around very well, considering where England were. It's a bit like how ahead India were in that Hyderabad Test match in the first Test. India have given them a bit of a taste of their own medicine, so to say. But there's still life in this game. England pick up a couple. You never know what happens in Test cricket. I'm not completely ruling England off, but you have to say at this point, India are slightly ahead.
In amongst all of the drama of England's batting collapse, it's easy to forget a significant day for a young England bowler, Shoaib Bashir. 5 wickets in the first innings, his first 5 for not just in Test cricket but in first-class cricket as well. England will be hoping he can pull off something similar on day 4, and he's been speaking to Stefan Schemmeld.
Shoaib Bashir, thanks for talking to the Test Match Special podcast. Just talk us through that match situation after 3 days of this Test match.
Yeah, look, we lost a few wickets early on, and in that last period we would like to got 1 or 2 wickets, but that wicket's deteriorating massively, so we feel like we're in the game massively as well. Just got to take 10 wickets tomorrow, 10 opportunities, and yeah, really excited.
Just felt like India got some momentum today with bat and ball and were difficult to stop. Yeah,
look, they've got Ashwin, Jadeja and Kuldeep, 3 unbelievable players. We're going to go out there tomorrow and take 10 wickets. That's what we're thinking. So again, Jaiswal's a good player. He's in top form as well. So yeah, just really excited to see how tomorrow unfolds.
You're trying to wrap up the lower order this morning, and that drop of Dhruv Jurel could prove crucial, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could. But again, these things happen in cricket. Cricket's a funny game. As we saw, things happen really quickly. And remember, it's day 4, and there's so many cracks in that wicket. So yeah, look, me and Tommy are really excited for tomorrow. Good challenge for us as young spinners, but yeah, really looking forward to it.
You're a young spinner, you're learning the game. Could you appreciate how well India were bowling today, even though it was making things so tough for the England batters?
Yeah, look, I used to watch these guys when I was a lot younger, and they're high quality spinners, as I said before. But it gives us massive confidence to see them doing well. Some shooting above, bouncing high, some shooting low. So yeah, really excited again tomorrow. It could happen. Same thing could happen tomorrow.
Let's go back to your bowling, a spell that started yesterday. And firstly, Joe Root came out here last night to talk about his innings. We also talked about your bowling. But he was also saying to us how much of a joker and how cheeky you are in the dressing room. Is that right?
Yeah, I do crack up a few jokes in here and there. But yeah, look, again, walking into this dressing room, you can just be yourself and everyone loves you. And the amount of confidence I get from this changing room is unbelievable. So yeah.
plugged in for 31 overs on the bounce yesterday. Your first 5-wicket haul in professional cricket. Never mind Test cricket. How does that feel?
Yeah, really, really special. 2 years ago, I wouldn't even have dreamt to be here. And for me to take 5 wickets is it's quite emotional actually, because I lost my 2 granddads about a year and a half ago, and they used to watch TV all the time, and they wanted me to do well, and they wanted to see me on TV. So quite emotional.
Can you remember the last time you took a fifer in any sort of cricket?
It would have been for Berkshire quite a while back, but yeah.
How were you last night? I mean, have you ever bowled a spell like that before?
Oh, body was fantastic. I could have bowled 30 more overs there. But yeah, no, body's all good. Just buzzing to get going tomorrow.
And you've got the opportunity to affect the game tomorrow. You mentioned it, that you and Tom Hartley know that it's an opportunity out there to win a Test match for England.
That's it. Just got to take the positives out of the day. Again, this pitch, anything can happen really quickly. And me and Tommy take huge confidence out of this. We're 2 young spinners, and we know we could be heroes at the end of the day tomorrow.
Got enough runs?
Yeah, we got enough runs. Backing us to take 10 wickets tomorrow, 10 opportunities.
Good luck, Shoaib.
Thank you so much.
Well, he does sound young, doesn't he? And he is Tuffers. I mean, this is a guy. He's 20 years old. I mean, what a series he's had. What a pick as well.
Unbelievable. Yeah, what a pick, first of all. What a selection as well. They've obviously seen something in him. Tall, holds that line, great changes of pace, and you could see he was enjoying doing his bowling. A lot of people sort of say, oh, that was a lot of overs, oh, crikey, 31 overs on the spin. When you're a spin bowler and it's happening for you and you're running in and you're enjoying life and the wicket's spinning and it's coming out nicely and you're taking wickets, they fly past. You don't get tired. You know what I mean? All right, the fingers might get a little bit tired and what have you, and you might need a little bit of a break here and there, but you just want to keep bowling. And I think he bowled beautifully. I really do. I'm really pleased for him. He bowls at that good pace. He scuttles it along. He plays with his paces. He can bowl that nice, quick sort of spinner as well. I think he's a really. He's got a really bright future for England. And I was absolutely delighted for him. As you say, first class fifer in a Test match against India. Well, don't get much better than that. It's only about his 6th or 7th game, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing. Michael, from a captaincy point of view, a huge credit to Ben Stokes for what he's got out of these bowlers on this tour. But tomorrow, arguably, is the biggest challenge of all, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been fantastic. I love his character. I'm also delighted that he's been taking the Bazball pills, ultra positive in everything that they talk about. They're going to win tomorrow. I've just got a little bit of history for England. That there's been no team in the history of Test match cricket that has defended against India a total that's been under 200. There's been 32 instances, 3 draws, and India have won 29. So England are up against history. In whatever happens this series, England have certainly found a few players. They found a young spinner in Shoaib Bashir, who's going to be around for a while. He's looks a fantastic character, comes from a great height, and obviously Tom Hartley's been fantastic as well. So whatever happens from here on in, England have certainly found a few players, which is great. And Ben Stokes captains them wonderfully. But tomorrow morning, it's such a tall order to defend such a low total against these Indian players are brought up facing spin. From the minute that they arrive, that they just know how to face the spin. I think the low balls are the ones that could do for a few of them. That ball that did Jaiswal in the first innings that skidded along the deck. You saw Ben Stokes get one that kept low today. Spin won't bowl them out. They're going to need a little bit of variation from the kind of pitch in terms of the bounce. And you would think that those balls that keep low tomorrow, they're all going to be having to hit the stunts, because that's exactly how England can win the game. I don't see how you spin this Indian side out when you've only got 150 to play with. But can England find on day 4 that this pitch has suddenly deteriorated overnight? Be interested to see what roller India use in the morning. They might use the big roller to try and nullify that. And they'll obviously come out playing a few shots. I mean, those 40 that they got tonight in 8 overs, there was a little bit of a sign that India aren't going to block the way to this target.
Tuffers? Agree with that?
No, couldn't agree more. I think also as well, it was just a mark of how well Bashir bowled that I think it peed off Ashwin a little bit, I think he came out really with his bit between his teeth and said, right, okay, well, my opposition spinner, little 19-year-old kid's got 5 for, well, I'm going to have to pull my finger out here. And he did, because he's the class bowler that he is. But, I think that they've just got to try and get those couple early. I don't know how they go about it necessarily. Are they going to have men in there? Are they going to sort of set the field a little bit deep with rings and perhaps one just up in front? And they've just got to hope for that little bit of luck. One goes along the deck and do what they did, India did to England, get those 2 or 3 quickly, and then all of a sudden strange things can happen. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that they can get somewhere close and put some pressure on India, but if they don't get a wicket in the first half an hour, I think they're doomed.
Just finally, before you head off to put on the Yorkshire puddings, Michael, can they do it? Will they do it?
Oh, I hope so. I don't think they will. I just think this Indian side have had the day that they dreamed of at the start of it. They completely destroyed England on day 3. They did it last Test match, and they ended up winning that game by 434. Look, there's still 152 runs to get for India, but they're only one partnership. You know, when you're 152 away, England will have to get 4 in the first hour to put them under any kind of pressure. And you know, can they do that? Of course they can, because I think the pitch is there for them. But when you look at inexperience, particularly in the spin department, Ollie Robinson's not bowling with any kind of zip or pace. Jimmy Anderson at 41, you know, he's bowled tremendously. But can he get a 5 or 6 for? You wouldn't have thought so on a day 4 Indian pitch. But you never know. In this Test match series, generally it's ebbed and flowed, and it surprised you with pretty much every session that's gone. There's not been that many sessions that have gone the way that you would thought it would go. So let's hope at 4 o'clock